Stop chasing women who aren't even chasing themselves. Let that sink in. Most men waste years trying to impress women who are emotionally unavailable, constantly seeking approval, constantly trying to prove their worth, without ever understanding why nothing works. But here's the truth. What separates a man who attracts effortlessly from one who struggles isn't his looks, his money, or even his confidence. It's his ability to refuse to compromise his standards, to refuse to accept disrespect, to refuse to play games designed to manipulate him. Because the women who notice you, who desire you, who become obsessed with you, they are not drawn to what you do for them. They are drawn to what you refuse to do. A smart man doesn't bend for attention. He understands something most men never learn. His value is not defined by how much attention he gives. It's defined by how much he keeps for himself. Think about this. A woman texts you late at night. It's a test. She's checking. Will you drop everything and respond instantly? Most men panic. They reply right away, afraid of losing her interest. But a man who understands the game doesn't react. He lives his life. He responds when it fits his schedule, not out of ego, not out of coldness, but out of self-respect. And that is magnetic. Because without saying a word, he communicates something powerful. I have a life you don't control. Now listen carefully. Women don't always test you directly. They do it subtly, through small moments, small behaviors, and every time you give in, every time you overextend, every time you ignore your own boundaries, you send a signal about your self-respect. But every time you hold your ground, you send a different message, that you are rare, that you are grounded, that you are not easily moved. And that's where attraction begins. Because attraction isn't built on availability, it's built on scarcity. The more available you become, the less desirable you appear. But the more selective you are, the more valuable you become. Now let's go deeper. This doesn't just apply to texting, it applies to how you handle disrespect. If she dismisses your opinion, if she tries to embarrass you, if she crosses a boundary in public, most men react emotionally. They argue, they defend, they try to win. But a smart man? He doesn't argue, he doesn't chase understanding, he simply disengages, calm, controlled, certain. And that silence does something powerful. It creates curiosity. It forces her to reassess your value. It triggers something deeper than words ever could. Because when a man maintains dignity under pressure, it becomes intoxicating. Now understand this clearly. Refusing is not about being arrogant. It's not about being cold or unkind. It's about self-mastery. It's about aligning your actions with your principles. And refusing to sacrifice yourself for temporary approval. Because you cannot demand respect if you keep giving it away for free. Every time you ignore your standards, every time you prioritize someone else's validation over your own growth, you lower your value. But every time you refuse, you build something powerful: independence, control, presence. And these are the qualities women are naturally drawn to. Not because you chase them, but because you don't need to. Now, let's make this practical. There are 4 things every smart man refuses. First, he refuses to compromise his time for someone who doesn't respect it. Your time is your currency, and how you spend it shows your value. Second, he refuses to tolerate disrespect or manipulation. No emotional reactions, just clear boundaries or quiet distance. Third, he refuses to chase validation. His self-worth comes from within, not from attention. And fourth, he refuses to settle for shallow connections. He is selective, and that selectivity creates attraction. These aren't random behaviors. They are intentional choices, and women notice them. Maybe not consciously, but psychologically they track it. They feel who respects himself, who holds his ground, and who cannot be easily controlled. And that feeling, it draws them in. Now here's the final truth. This doesn't happen overnight, it builds. Every boundary you hold, every time you protect your time, every moment you refuse to chase, you reinforce your identity, and over time, She starts thinking about you more, trying to understand you, feeling drawn to you, without even knowing why. Because attraction is not about what you give, it's about what you refuse to give. Desire grows where availability shrinks, respect grows where boundaries are strong. So ask yourself this: where have you been giving too much? Where have you been compromising your standards? Pick one thing, just one, and decide today you will no longer tolerate it, refuse it, protect it. Stay consistent and watch how everything begins to change.